Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be continuing the practice test number 8, starting with Module 2 of the math section. So we're going to start straight away over here with question 1. I already have the point labeled for you guys. So we have, what is the y-intercept of the graph? And looking at our y-intercept, when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 5, so 0, 5 is your answer. Question 2. For a certain region, the table shows the average number of store employees in 2016 by type of store. Based on the table, how much greater was the average number of store employees in warehouse stores than in supermarkets? So all you're going to do is look at warehouse store, average number of employees, and then supermarket store, average, and do subtraction. And that's your answer. Okay, next question. In the figure, line M is parallel to line N and line T intersects both lines. What is the value of X? For this question, you need to know your geometry rules, your angles. So these angles are going to be equivalent, and then these angles are going to be equivalent, and then these angles are going to be equivalent, and these angles are going to be equivalent. So looking at that, we have 33 here and 33 here. And that means these angles too are going to be the same. So 33 here and 33 here. So what you're going to do with this information now is that we know the whole circle is 360 degrees, and all of the 4 angles inside this circle add up to 360 degrees. So we can set up an equation. 360 degrees is equal to our 2 unknown angles, we'll call x, plus our 2 known angles of 33 degrees. So what we can do now is we have 360 minus 66 is equal to 2x. So with that, we have x is equal to 294 over 2, which is equal to 147. Okay, next question. Sean rents a tent at a cost of $11 per day, plus a one-time insurance fee of $10. Which equation represents the total cost, C, in dollars to rent the tent with insurance for D days? So we're going to write out the equation before we even look at our answer choices. We're going to have our total cost, which is C, is equal to one-time insurance fee of $10 plus $11 for every day. And then this equation is going to be equivalent to answer choice number C. We just have our variables flipped around, or numbers. Question 5. For the right triangle shown, A is equal to 4 and B is equal to 5. Which expression represents the value of C? So know that your Pythagorean theorem is C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. And we have A is equal to 4 and B is equal to 5. So we know that C is equal to the square root of A squared plus B squared. So C is equal to the square root of 4 squared plus 5 squared. And before we continue any further, we need to look at our answer choices and realize that D is equivalent to what we have as of now, because it's asking for an expression which represents C, not the numeric value specifically. Okay, question number 6 now. The function g is defined by g of x is equal to 6x. For what value of x is g of x equal to 54? So we can simply set g of x equal to 54 and then solve for x. So x is going to be equal to 54 divided by 6, so x is equal to 9. Question 7. The function f is defined by f of x is equal to 8x cubed plus 4. What is the value of f of 2? Let's plug in f of 2. It's going to be equal to 8 times 8 plus 4, which is equal to 68, which is your answer. Okay, moving on. Question 8. The function f is defined by f of x is equal to 1 over 10x minus 2. What is the y-intercept of the graph of y is equal to f of x in the xy plane? Okay, so we have our y-intercept that we're looking for. So we set x equal to 0, so f of x is going to be equal to 1 over 10, or sorry, f of 0 is going to be equal to 1 over 10 times 0 minus 2. So f of 0 is equal to negative 2. So our y-intercept is 0, negative 2, answer choice B. Question 9. A producer is creating a video with a length of 70 minutes. The video will consist of segments that are 1 minute long and segments that are 3 minutes long. Which equation represents this situation where x represents the number of 1 minute segments and y represents the number of 3 minute segments? So pay attention to this part specifically because it could trip you up. X is representing the number of 1 minute segments and y is representing the number of 3 minute segments, not the minutes themselves. So before even looking at our answer choices, we want to construct the equation on our own. So we're going to write out the amount of 1 minute segments plus the amount of 3 minute segments. And then we don't know how many segments there are in total, so the only thing we know is 70 is the total number of minutes in total. So we have to correct this equation by adding 3 in front of this because this is the minutes per every 3 minute segment. And then we can also add a 1 here, but it's really the same if we keep it like it is. So this is going to be your equation. Looking at our answer choices, that is question D. Okay, question 10. The function f is defined by f of x is equal to 7x cubed. In the xy plane, the graph of y is equal to g of x is the result of shifting the graph of y equals f of x down 2 units. Which equation defines the function of g? I'm not even going to write this one out because it's simply just this equation minus 2 if you're shifting it down. So looking at our answer choices, that is option D. As we see that shift there. Question 11. The solution to the given system of equations is x comma y. What is the value of x? Okay, if we're looking for x, what we can do is substitute this value into y instead of manipulating our equations otherwise. So we have 4x plus negative 3x is equal to 15. So you have x is equal to 15. This is the fastest way to solve this problem, so I suggest doing it this way. Question 12. In the right triangle shown, what is the value of sine of A? So sine of A, we're looking at this angle here. Sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So we have, this is our opposite, and this is our hypotenuse. So we have 35 over 171 is going to be equal to sine of A. Which is option B. Question 13. What is the area in square centimeters of a rectangle with length 34 centimeters and width 29 centimeters? This is a very basic problem. We have the area of a rectangle is equal to length times width. So it's going to be 34 times 29. And now for this, obviously, use your calculator when you have it. So we're going to do that. 34 times 29 is going to give you 986, which is equal to your area. Question 14. If x over y is equal to 4 and 24x over ny is equal to 4, what is the value of n? Okay, so we have this proof here. So if we substitute 24n and then plug in our value for x over y right here, which is 4, and set that equal to 4, we can now solve for n. So we're going to move n to this side. We have 24 times 4 is equal to 4n. Divide both sides by 4, and we get n is equal to 24. That's going to be your answer. Question 15. A bowl contains 20 ounces of water. When the bowl is uncovered, the amount of water in the bowl decreases by 1 ounce every 4 days. If 9 ounces of water remain in this bowl, for how many days has it been uncovered? Okay, so let's set up an equation so we can model the situation. So let's say the number of ounces of water left is equal to y. And let's also say that the y-intercept is 20 to begin with, as it's given. And then our slope is obviously decreasing, but by how much? 1 ounce every 4 days. We'll say x is the amount of days. So it's asking 9 ounces remain. How many days has it been? So we set y is equal to 9, and then we're solving for x. So we get negative 11 is equal to negative 1 over 4x. 44 is equal to x. So it's been 44 days. Question 16. If 9 times 4 minus 3x plus 2 is equal to 8 times 4 minus 3x plus 18, what is the value of 4 minus 3x? So instead of distributing here, which it may be tempting to do so, we're going to keep our like terms together and move them to the same side. So we have like terms here, and we have like terms here. So we're going to move 8 over to the other side. So we have 4 minus 3x is equal to, we're going to move 2 to this side. So that's going to be equal to 16. So 4 minus 3x is equal to 16. It's really as simple as that. Question 17 is going to be our last question for the day. Actually, we're going to do one more after this and then call it a day. So second last one. Question 17, a certain township consists of a 5-hectare industrial park and a 24-hectare neighborhood. The total number of trees in the township is 4,529. The equation 5x plus 24y equals 4,529 represents this situation. Which of the following is the best interpretation of x in this context? So before we even look at the answer choices, think about x and what it could be. 5 times x. Well, 5 is also seen in the problem here, and it represents a 5-hectare industrial park. So 5x plus 24y is equal to 4,529. Our answer choice is A, the average number of trees per hectare in the industrial park. Well, that would make sense, but we're going to leave it for a second and keep reading our answer choices. Option B, the average number of trees per hectare in the neighborhood. Well, that doesn't really correspond to the neighborhood, so that's not going to be correct. Option C, the total number of trees in the industrial park. Well, no, because that would be equivalent to 5x, the whole term, not x itself. So that's wrong. And then D, the total number of trees in the neighborhood. No, we know that that's equal to 4,529. Or, sorry, that's in the township. We have no idea how many trees are in the neighborhood. It would be 24y, which that would represent, not 4,529. That's my mistake. So that leaves us with answer choice A. Okay, question 18, last question for the day. Which expression is equivalent to a to the 11 over 12 where a is greater than 0? So we know a little background rule, a to the b over c is always going to be equal to the root of c, a to the b. Now 11 over 12 will be equal to 12, a to the 11, but that here is not an answer choice, so what we're going to do is actually manipulate our equation by multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by 12, which is going to give us 132 over 144, and this will give us the root 144a to the 132. Now, looking at our answer choices, we have option B as an answer. So with these type of questions, just know you may have to manipulate the exponential power rather than just solving for it directly. And if you don't want to do it this way, we kind of did it backwards. You can also look at this, the answer choices, and say to yourself which one's equivalent. For example, a to the 132 over 12 is not going to be equal to a to the 11 over 12. And same for each of them. So for answer choice B, a to the 132 over 144 is going to be equal to a to the 11 over 12 when simplifying down. So that may be an easier way to do it if you see it that way. And yeah, I hope everyone learned something new from these problems today. And I hope to see you on the next episode where we finish up practice test number 8.